Clinkenbeard, Brina Panencia, and Bill Farmer. Now I'm going to get these, rather than going over their titles themselves, I'm going to get them all to introduce themselves, and then we'll open it up for some questions. So if you want to...
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, yes, let's get going here. Oh, we're so excited to be in Wellington. I'm Bill Farmer, and for the last 22 years, I've been the voice of Gorge, Goofy, and Pluto for the Walt Disney Company. Pluto. And over the years, I've had the fortune to voice a lot of other characters for Warner Brothers, Bugs Bunny. Oh, Brina, you stinker. You know, Sylvester the Cat. Suffering fucking tat. Oh, say there, boy, hold on. You know, ooh, I thought I saw a putty tat. And many more through the years. I've been very fortunate, and I'm just very excited to be here with everyone else on the panel. And we'll go down the line.
Hi, my name's Brina Panencia. I'm in no way as cool as Bill. But I do play Chopper. Chopper, stand up! Stand up! Chopper in One Piece, and even Black Cat, and Nina Tucker in Fullmetal Alchemist, and Maho and Beck, and Yue and Negama, and a few others, primarily anime, some video games, and stuff like that.
Greetings, family. I just want to let you all know that you guys live in the coolest place on the planet, New Zealand. And it's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me. I play Kevin on Ben 10 Alien Force, Beast Boy on Teen Titans, and so many other cartoon characters. Thank God. It's been such a pleasure being able to play in these different dimensions, these worlds, all these different cartoons. And I've got a new movie coming out, Fast and the Furious. You all should check that out. It comes out, I think, next week here in New Zealand. I've got a really funny role in that. And I love you.
My name's Colleen Clinkenbeard. I would like to point out that there are two people making out in the corner of the balcony. Yeah, that's it. I play Monkey D. Luffy in One Piece. Stand up, monkey. Awesome. I also play Riza Hawkeye and Rose Thomas in Fullmetal Alchemist. I directed half the series as well. And I play, let's see, Yuko in Holic, and Galatea in Claymore, and Rachel in Case Closed, and some other stuff. But unfortunately not Goofy. Brina and I are both in mourning over that. Okay, so do we want to open it up for questions? I think that's the best way to get this party started. Yeah, go for it. Oh, we might need, microphone.
Mr. Farmer, was it harder to do Kingdom Hearts than the Disney shorts?
I did do 3 Kingdom Hearts so far, which was an interesting experience because it was originally animated and created in Japan. So when I was doing Goofy, I was actually listening to the actor in Japan, in Japanese, doing Goofy, who had studied my voice. And it was very strange because in Japanese, Goofy's more like, oh, doishi moi kai to. It's very odd, you know. And he'd even broken down Goofy's laugh, and very technically, the way I do it is just, he had broken it down into 3 distinct pieces. It was like, it was very strange, but we got through it. We've done 3, and I think there's another one on the way. I'm not sure yet. Another question. We got drink there. Here comes the mic.
How did you get into voice acting?
Okay. I got into voice acting. I was a stand-up comedian impressionist, and I lived in Dallas, Texas at the time. And I started doing comedy clubs around the country, doing, you know, all sorts of wacky little voices and things. And my agent that I had in Dallas said, well, for all the voices you do, why don't you go to Hollywood? So I went out to Hollywood and got an apartment, was able to get an agent, started casting around, and finally in January of 1987, they said, do you do any of the Disney characters? They're looking to really solidify these characters with one voice. And so out of about 500-700 people that tried out for Goofy, they liked mine. And so I've been doing it exclusively. So wherever you hear Goofy in Kingdom Hearts or wherever you hear it, it's my voice for the last 22 years. And I was very fortunate, and I know how lucky I was. And so it was kind of like that. But I had kicked around in radio and television for about 12 years prior to doing Goofy.
When I was in high school, I had a boyfriend who was really obsessed with Dragon Ball Z. And so we lived really close to where the Funimation studios, where their studios were at the time, and we took a tour of the studios. Ironically, Chris Sabat, who plays Piccolo and Vegeta and all that, he was the one who was in the booth. But anyway, so when I graduated high school, like 3 years later, I remembered where it was, and it was really close to where I was going to college at the time, and so I just kind of walked in and asked how to audition, because at that time it was a lot easier to do that. Now if you try to get an audition, it's like a 2-year waiting list, or you have to know someone, or you have to have an agent or something like that. So I was just really lucky and fortunate that I came at just the right time. So I did bit parts for like 2 years, and then my first feature character was Nina Tucker in Fullmetal Alchemist, which Colleen cast me as. And then Colleen also was the one who got me into ADR directing for her. And then I've just gotten more stuff and directed more stuff ever since. Yay!
I would drive around in a camper with my 9 brothers and sisters and mess around on the CB, on the, you know what a CB is? A lot of kids don't know what a CB is. It's like a walkie-talkie, and all the big trucks have walkie-talkie antennas, and they talk to each other. They're like, yeah, man, we got a police officer around the corner. Make sure y'all slow down. You know what I'm saying? So I would get on the walkie-talkie and mess around with different voices. I would, stay up all night as my dad was driving around America, and I would just mess with truck drivers. And my father said, one day you're gonna do cartoons. And that's how it got started. I moved out to Los Angeles, and my first cartoon audition was Teen Titans, Beast Boy. And I never did Beast Boy's voice ever before until I walked into the recording studio at Warner Brothers, and they put Beast Boy's picture in front of me, and they gave me the character breakdown of who Beast Boy was. And then this came out. And then the story is told.
I went to college in Florida, in the States, and when I graduated, I decided that I was going to move back to Dallas for a few years, just a couple years, to earn some money so that I could move to New York to be a Broadway actress. That was the plan. And after I got to Dallas, I started doing some professional theater in the area, and I did a play with somebody named Laura Bailey, who I ended up becoming best friends with, and she plays Lust in Fullmetal Alchemist. She was Kid Trunks in DBZ. She was Toru Honda in Fruits Basket, and she's pretty well solidified at Funimation. And she brought me up to the studio one day to watch her record, which everybody knows is code for give my friend a part. And so I sat and watched, and eventually Chris Bevins, who was directing Dragon Ball GT at the time, said, well, I need somebody to scream. I need a scream. And I said that I would do that. So I got in the booth and I scream. And that scream actually got me the audition for Rachel in Case Closed and Eclair in Kitty Grade, which were my 2 first parts. And it kind of went fairly quickly after that, just because Kitty Grade, the director of that show, decided to become a line producer shortly after I started. So at episode 16, I took over for him as director because I was the closest person to the project. So it all just happened very luckily for me.